All right, in that same vein of people making a difference, we are now joined by the former chair of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Mike Rogers. His new syndicated show, Something to Think About, can be found at multiple radio outlets through Westwood One. Congressman, great to see you. Thanks for coming on Newsmax Now.
Thanks, Rick. Thanks for having me.
You know, here's something to think about. Your show has already been picked up by 150 stations. Congratulations on that. And you know, there are so many shows out there. What makes Something to Think About really stand out?
Well, you know, I think we talk about stories that you might hear in the news. Some of them you won't. I've talked about CIA operations that have gone well in the past. I've talked about stories about police officers doing good things. I've talked on the human interest side. I've talked a lot about why the Iran deal is bad in a unique way. And I think my perspective as a former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, as an FBI agent, as an Army officer, I have brought all of that and put all of that into these short vignettes. And thankfully, people have reacted just really positively and really seem to like it, which is great. I mean, 150 stations in just a few short months has been really exciting for me to hit that milestone. Yeah, there's great buzz about the show, and you talked about the uniqueness, and part of that is the personal anecdotes that tell a story. I want to share with our audience a great story that involves your early days as an Army lieutenant, so let's let the audience take a listen to that.
While on break one day, a few soldiers put a large piece of cardboard on the ground and cranked up the boombox. They were breakdancing and using the cardboard to do their spins. After much cajoling, the group of young soldiers, all of them black, got me on the cardboard for some breakdancing. They actually had me lay on the ground and spin me around by grabbing my feet and rocking in circles.
Well, the story goes on to talk about the common bonds that you shared with black soldiers. Now, I think why the show works, you share these fun and sweet and sometimes the simple stories really to kind of teach bigger issues. Talk about that one in particular, how it really can kind of resonate with race relations today.
Yeah, well, you know, one of the things I was trying to think about is how do you address a really complicated racial problem that's spread across America in a short time. And that story was important to me because it showed, listen, we're allowed to have cultural differences. That's okay. But at the end of it, and at the end of that story, I talk about we got back up off the cardboard and we went back to work together. It's okay to celebrate those differences. And now what we have in America is we celebrate the gap, not necessarily the fact that we're culturally different. And it becomes a we versus them. In that story, it was never we versus them. It was always about a group of people sharing each other's, I think, special cultural difference in a positive way. I was trying to make the point that there is a way through our racial problems across America, and it's by celebrating in a positive way and then getting back to work. There is so much to do. That story actually resonated and really took off across the country. I think people related to the message. It was very simple, but I think it had a big impact.
All right, Mike Rogers joining us, former chair of the House Intelligence Committee. We really appreciate your comments today, and best of luck with this show. What's great about it, again, these short vignettes really framing and talking about the issues of the day. You certainly have a lot to say, and already the show very popular, 150 stations nationwide. Congressman Rogers, wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Rick, and we'll see you around next time and give you something to think about.
All right, and coming up next year on Newsmax, headlines and punchlines right after the break.